You know, in my life, I feel like there's a constant, recurring theme. I feel like there's a theme in my life that's constantly always recurring. You know, this theme I feel like I really want to speak about because like it's been weighing on my heart, guys. It's been weighing on my heart heavy. You know, genuine. Like I genuinely think about it, and I start to think to myself like, am I cursed? You know, am I cursed? It's a question that I really need to like ask myself and think about because like at some point, if something keeps on happening, it has to be following me. You know, if you guys can understand, you know, where I'm going with this. If there's something that's repetitive in my life that keeps on happening over and over, like 2 years later, another same thing, same guy, same situation, same girl, same type of girl played with me, same type of girl cheated on me, same type of situation, theme, you know. But for me, my theme is specifically one where I'll meet people, and because I'm a nice guy, because I'm a good guy, you know, and I always like to say this, guys, nice guys and good guys are on God's side. You know, if you don't take revenge into your own hands, God does the revenging for you, you know. So there's this constant theme in my life that's always recurring of because I'm a nice guy, you know, because I'm a nice guy, I find myself in a situation where people do me dirty first. You know, I'm always the guy who gets done dirty, you know. But unfortunately, or fortunately for me, every single person who does me dirty eventually has to always come back to do what I like to call undo their magic. You know, when you witch someone, when you hurt someone, when you try to do someone dirty, when you try, you know, have ill intent towards doing someone something, doing something to someone, you know, the last position you ever want to be in is a position where you start needing the person that you did dirty to. You know, the person that you treated poorly, the person that, whatever it is that you did, you know, being in a position where that guy is now the person that you need to survive, you know, and that then causing you to now be their puppet. Do you get where I'm going with this? So there's always a theme of people doing me dirty, and then after they do me dirty, them coming back. You know, so there's a theme of people who always come back after doing me dirty. You know, and for me, I'm slowly, or I've already slowly deep down in my heart accepted this curse. You know, accepted that because if you're a good person, because you're not usually the one to attack first, because you're not the one who has ill intent over other people, you know, for some reason that creates this um negative attracts type of thing where good people attract bad people. You know, people are always trying to take advantage of good people. You know, people are trying to take advantage of your trust, of your loyalty, of all these attributes that good people present. You know, so it seems like because I present these attributes, consistency, showing up, loyalty, it leads me to always be the one who gets done dirty. But like I always say, guys, when you're the good guy, you always win. You know, because when you're a good guy and you meet a bad person and a bad person does you dirty and they leave, that's them exposing their true colors. That's God creating a situation that was going to separate the two of you because they're not worth your future. You know, you deserve better. You deserve a good thing. You know, so in this journey of mine, you know, in this curse of mine, in this journey of trying to be a decent, good person, I found out that if you're going to be a good person in a place where there are evil people, then you're always going to be at conflict. You know, evil people want to take advantage of people. You know, evil people want to steal from people. And if you're the good guy, if you're the guy who's showing up to ruin that party, if you're the guy who's showing up to tell the truth, you're always going to be the hated one. You're always going to be the person that has to get done dirty because you're ruining the flow of evil in that place. You know, they call it the salt of the earth. So if people are stealing money, if people are doing this and that in this specific work environment, in this specific sector, infrastructure, and you show up and you want to be the good person who cares about the country, who cares about other people, who cares about society, and you're gonna want to try expose what bad things are going on, then you must understand that you're gonna attract a lot of enemies. You're gonna be ruining someone else's parade, so you're gonna be attracting a lot of enemies. So good people always attract bad people because good people ruin bad people's lives. Someone wants to steal from you, but if someone else comes and stops someone from stealing from you, that person is now an enemy of people who steal from people. So if you're in a country, if you're in a city, if you're in a place, if you're in a group, in an environment that has evil intentions, and you're going to be the guy stopping these evil intentions from happening, you are immediately a threat. You are now a threat. But unfortunately, for me personally, I believe that if there is no good left, if there are no good people left, if there's a situation in this world where evil can happen and there'll never ever be someone to counter that, to combat evil, if there's a shortage of good people, good strong people, good people who have the capacity to do bad, if there are bad people stealing, if a good person who has the capacity to fight those people who are trying to steal, who has power, who has influence. If there is a shortage of that, of people who fight for other people, then we're going to be heading towards a very dark place. We're going to be heading towards a very dark place. A place where anything can happen to you and there's no justice. Where your daughters are not safe anymore, where your brothers, your cousins, your parents, you are no longer safe because there's no one to enforce good in any situation. So unfortunately, I had to accept my curse that if I'm going to try and be a good person, if I'm going to try and care about other people, I have to be willing to accept that there are going to be a lot of people who don't want that to happen. There's going to be a lot of people who are still trying to loot, who are still trying to steal, who are still trying to do certain things, and those people are going to hate me. And regardless whether they hate me or not, I have to continue to keep being me, a good person. I have to continue to keep trying to help others, to keep trying to show the way of good, because if there aren't any good people left, we're going to a dark place. What's the point of me having kids one day if I know that they're going to have to grow up in a world where someone can do whatever they want with them, and that's just the way it is, and I just have to accept that as the new mode of living, so obviously good people must exist, and I chose for myself that I can't keep saying to myself, when are the good people coming? Who are the good people that are going to come? What are we going to, when am I going to meet a good person? There aren't any good people left. If I'm the good person, then there's good people left. Be the change that you want to be. You want a person who doesn't revenge. You want a person who forgives. So you must be the person who forgives. You must be the person who doesn't revenge. So you have to choose to be what you want to be. And I want to be a good person. And because, I'm a good person, this theme that I told you guys about of me always getting done dirty, I'm going to have to accept that that's what it is. It's a curse. It's the curse of being a good person. The curse of you being the person who stands in front for someone else, and because you're fighting for someone else, you're now attracting a lot of enemies. That's the curse that you have to deal with as a good person. But what does it mean if you have to deal with that and live with that for the rest of your life? Does that mean that now, because it's difficult, you're not going to become a good person? Because everyone is a bad person, now you must just be a bad person because everyone's a bad person. That I'm just such a follower, that I'm just such a puppet, that if everyone starts doing something, I'm going to start doing that thing because everyone's doing it. Those are the questions that I had to ask myself, fundamental questions that I had to ask myself early on, to say, are you going to let the world dictate what you do, or are you going to dictate what you do in the world? You have your God, you have your beliefs, you have whatever it is that you stand for. And if now you go into a place and they say, this is what we do to survive here, are you going to start doing what they do to survive with them? Or are you going to do what you do to survive because you are you? Are you making your own decisions for yourself, or are other things shaping your decisions? So I said to myself, I'm choosing to be a good person. I'm choosing to stand against, to stand against the injustices, to stand against injustice, crime, violence, stand against wrong things, because there are things that are wrong. It feels like we're heading towards like a place in our lives where there's no longer good or bad anymore. You can just do whatever you want to do, because that's how now we are now in society. Anything is possible. Anything can be done. It's okay to do that. It's okay. That's the world that we live in now. So this theme of mine, this theme that I've spoken about at the beginning of always being done dirty, and then people coming back, the same people who do me dirty, having to now need me. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to have to be. I have to accept that, because you want to be a good person, and because there's so little good people out there these days, you have to expect a lot of people to be wary of you, to be suspicious of, why are you so good? Why are you doing something for me for free? Why are you giving me this without expecting anything in return? Why are you helping me? Um, so because it's so rare to find people who are willing to just do things for free these days, most of the times those people are going to react and do things sometimes that, they don't even understand themselves, and they'll do you dirty. But them always needing to come back, and always realizing that, you are the person that they needed from the very beginning, that you are actually a good person, and good people are the only people that can help people. And when you need help one day, you're going to be looking for a good person. But if you targeted that good person, who will be your help? Who's going to help you? So yeah, guys, yeah, I just wanted to vent about this theme that, yeah,